I'm Paul Levinson, and welcome to Light On Light Through, episode 260, my review of Severance 1.5. Well, I said in my review of Severance 1.4 last week that in the metaphysics of life and death in television series, if you don't see a character's head literally severed or blown to bits, well, that character might survive whatever the grievous injury. And, spoilers ahead, sure enough, in episode 1.5 of Severance, up on Apple TV Plus yesterday, Mark comes to the rescue and takes Helly down from that noose before it kills her. We later learn that when she came to, she was in her outie form, an interesting detail that may have some significance sometime later in this very unusual narrative. At the very least, it confirmed what we already knew, that her outie form was the entity that she really is. And I'll also say, I'm glad that Helly survived. She's an important, pivotal character, both in her own right and as the innie Mark is the closest to, the innie he has the most commitment to. Otherwise, there was not much of transcendent importance that happened in this episode. It ends with Irving's team meeting Bert's team, which is supposed to be a big deal, but I'm not 100% sure why. Are the innies on the way to organizing some kind of union? Well, that would be interesting and important. Meanwhile, I'd like to see more about Harmony and her relationship with the higher-ups at Lumon. She's clearly beholden to the board, but she also clearly has a certain independence of mind and action, certainly a lot more than the innies on Mark's and slightly higher levels. Dylan also has a lot more story in him. And it occurred to me that his obvious constant sarcasm and rebelliousness could be a mask for him really being a company operative. That would explain why he seems to be getting away with his comments and attitude. As I keep saying, Severance is one of the most unusual and therefore memorable science fiction series to get on the screen in years. The very different counterpart would be the most recent example that comes to mind. And I'm certainly looking forward to more of Severance. So I hope you enjoyed that review of Severance 1.5. I will see you back here, I hope, next week with my review of the next episode of Severance. And before then, there'll be all kinds of reviews of exciting shows coming up. And let me mention, this coming Monday, I'll have as a very special guest Professor Christine Feldman Barrett, who wrote a book last year called A Woman's History of the Beatles. And I hope you tune in for that interview because that topic is something that I know you'll find fascinating. In the meantime, stay safe, stay sound, and do whatever you can to help those brave, heroic people in Ukraine.
The Light on Light Through podcast.
Athens, 2042 AD. She ripped the paper in half, then ripped the halves, then ripped what was left again into bits and pieces of history that could have been. Sierra Waters had read once that, years ago, it was thought that men made love for the thrill, while women made love for the sense of connection it gave them.
Curled Up with a Good Book says, Sierra Waters is sexy as hell. You can find out more about The Plot to Save Socrates by Paul Levinson at theplottoSaveSocrates.com.
Paul Levinson spills code about an ancient biotech war raging on in secret for centuries.